And I'm amazed that it's recovering, and it can recover the way it does. But I'm concerned that these fires are getting hotter and longer and more often, and I wonder how long it can keep recovering.
As the summer has just shown us, we're in a very different sort of relationship to our natural world now, and I think that it's causing a great deal of reflection.
I'm Warwick Fuller. I've been painting for about 40 years or a little more than that, full time. I'm basically an outdoor painter. I do some work in the studio, but this is where the real alchemy happens. It's what I love, and I'm out here all the time. I discovered early that light is what drives me, what makes me want to paint the landscape. But on top of that, I'm trying to interpret what's deeper than just the physical surrounds, the physical objects in the landscape. To me, the best light is morning and afternoon, early and late. It's when you get really lovely effects happening. You get gorgeous colours, you get light cutting through at angles through foliage and timber and rocks that you wouldn't get during the daytime, that just really make a special painting.
Every dawn is different. How do you rate this one?
There's nothing of significance that I see other than this lovely silhouette of trees against the sky. As far as the dawn goes, it's a very clear day, and which doesn't create doesn't give me the best information. There's no colour in the sky, but it's still going to be a lovely painting with these beautiful silhouettes of trees, of live and dead trees. It's just brilliant. I'm here in the Walden Valley. It's a beautiful valley. It's only an hour and a half's drive from home. Beautiful place to paint. There's so much diversity of landscape here. At the moment, it's been really harshly dealt with by the recent summer bushfires. Well, this is the western edge of the Gosper mountain fires that burnt out 500,000 hectares of land over the summer. But that's recovering now very, very nicely. In fact, some of the qualities that I'm seeing here is the lush green of the new foliage, the new grasses down in the valley, juxtaposing those against the burnt of the trees above. The bluffs themselves, they're knocked around, the foliage on the bluffs, but they're adding to the character of the colour of the stone. And then that green contrasting against the browns and oranges and mauves, it's just beautiful. And I'm amazed that it's recovering, and it can recover the way it does. But I'm concerned that these fires are getting hotter and longer and more often, and I wonder how long it can keep recovering. Hopefully it'll spring back and do it again and again.
Why did you choose this site?
Well, it seemed to me to have just the perfect harmony between the lush regrowth and renewal of the pasture grasses and some trees on the edge of that are recovering already. Those playing up against the absolutely burnt out escarpment, it just gave a lovely contrast of colour and tone, and there was some sort of a harmony I saw in that, even though they were contrasting colours, but it was that range that really made me want to jump out and paint it. When I look around at the various things here in the landscape, suddenly something will jump out at me. It doesn't have to be the whole scene. I might just see a rock against a burnt bit of grass in this case, and that's enough to do it for me. Yeah, this painting is from the Walden Valley. It's funny how different that is to the bushfire scenery that we've been looking at for the last few days. I do the majority of my work outdoors. I'm an outdoor painter. I do work in the studio from time to time. If I find a small painting I'd like to develop up, get more out of it, I work that in the studio. If I've painted a little painting out in the field that I'm particularly happy with, that's enough. It says everything it needs to say in its own right. But there are times when I feel I could get more out of a painting that's painted out in the field, so I'll develop that up into a larger work where I can resolve problems or compositional weaknesses in the sketch. There's various reasons, but they're the main reasons. Sometimes it's just too big a dramatic painting to capture everything in the little sketch, and so I can get a lot more out of it in the big painting.
Is there a magic that you capture on plein air, out in the great outdoors, that you can't reproduce?
Almost invariably. I can make a big painting more dramatic and more impressive, but rarely does it capture that heartfelt connection I have with the painting when I'm working out there from life, with all my senses activated and feeling it and sensing it, tasting it and hearing it.
Even on a rainy weekday afternoon, His Royal Highness can still pull a crowd. In the age of smartphones and social media, the royal painter took a snapshot of the moment the old-fashioned way.
The Royal Highnesses both have collected a number of my paintings, 14 in fact, that I've painted here in Australia when I've been official tour artist for the Royal Highnesses on their tours of Australia for their last 3 tours. That's a tradition he's carried on from back in the days before there were photography and other means of recording things.
Okay. I'm Shona White, I'm the director of the Penrith Regional Gallery. Warwick is an extraordinary artist. He's a fantastic painter. He paints landscapes, as we know. That's his thing, and he does it beautifully. And he does it in the tradition of that great Australian Impressionist style of painting, also known as the Heidelberg School of Painting. He's taken that style and he's developed it into something that it's got tradition, but it's also got a beautiful sense of a contemporary look, looking at landscape, looking at nature, understanding light. His particular thing is light. As the summer has just shown us, we're in a very different sort of relationship to our natural world now, and I think that it's causing a great deal of reflection, certainly with Warwick, and he's really interesting the way in which he's working with this whole subject of what's going on with nature now.
I don't know what I love about the Australian bush, I just love it. I love every aspect of it. I love its nuances. Always loved the bush, loved nature, loved wildlife, loved the diversity, the range, the variations of the Australian bush. I'm 72 now. But as long as I can paint, I'll keep painting. I love painting. I don't think I'll get sick of it. If I run out of enthusiasm or I don't feel as though I'm searching or finding new things, I'll probably chuck it in then.